Man, the playoffs is here. Hey, do y'all know the playoffs are here? I think y'all should know that the playoffs are here. You know what time that, when that comes around, it means the Chiefs are probably getting ready to whoop somebody's ass. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I'm banking on it, man.
I don't know if I should be saying that they're going to whoop somebody's ass. So I'm just going to, just saying to myself that I'm hoping that they put a whooping on somebody, especially a team that everybody seems to be thinking, or a couple of teams everybody seems to be thinking, are basically better than the Chiefs. Which is sort of like what happened last year when, we were supposedly not that good. Everybody else is, basically better than us, and they were going to wind up winning, or somebody's going to take us out. We've never played on the road before, and all this other kind of shit. And, this is kind of funny. I think, people flip-flop a lot when it comes to shit. And what's funny about that is that last year is because we weren't very good. Going into the playoffs, we didn't look like the same old Chiefs. And then this year comes around, and here we are winning every game, but we're winning them by small margins, or they're saying we're getting lucky, or the refs are playing into it somehow, some way, and, all this other shit, right? And it's kind of funny because I'm sitting here thinking to myself, wow, you can't win for losing. You can't do nothing without them criticizing or having something to say about the way you win these games. And I don't know, but to me, the way I was always taught was a win is a win. It don't matter how you get it. That's just what I was told, But hey, what do I know? Here we are. Ever since Mahomes come into the league, 3 Super Bowls later, still probably the most dominant. The luckiest or the worst 15-2 team ever in the existence of the NFL. I don't know if I would agree with that.
Man, hell no. I'm not even gonna entertain none of that.
Oh man, I am Big Temp. That's Big Mike. Unfortunately, Mike is having some technical difficulties with his camera today, so we are going to just go audio only on this. And it's been a trying week just since the end of the regular season. So if everybody understands how this works, the Chiefs had already locked up the number 1 seed. I'm not telling you guys nothing you don't already know. But apparently, teams tend to think that if a team is already locked up the number 1 seed, they should just go ahead and play their starters no matter what. Because they still need a chance to get into the fucking playoffs. And without, certain things happening, they might not get into the playoffs. And my response to that is tough titty.
Right. That's how I'm feeling.
I'm sorry. Not my fucking problem. A lack of preparation on y'all's part did not constitute an emergency on the Chiefs' part. Simple as that. It did not do that. You fucked up. The thing about it was the Bengals should have been, I get it. They won all these games in December. And then they won, I think, one in January. So they had this streak where they won all these games at the end of the year, because they were desperate. Had to try to make a way to get into the NFL playoffs, right? The AFC playoffs. Well, the same games that you're talking about that we should have won because it would have got you a chance to get into the NFL playoffs, I say to you, you probably should have won those games in September and October and November. I mean,
yeah, like
I'm just saying.
instead of half-assing the early half of the season.
But it's what they do all the time. It's what they do all the time.
They trick off the early half of the season and think just because they go on a little hot streak later on that they deserve to be in the playoffs. That's not how it works.
it's funny how that works, right? It to me, I think, okay, so we're supposed to play Captain Save-A-Ho.
Basically.
That's what we supposed to do? We supposed to save you bitches from fucking, from your own fucking mistakes? No, that's your fucking problem. That is your problem, not ours. You fucked up. Now you got to deal with it. And you know what's funny is like I said, ever since that Burrowhead comment that was made, can you tell me what the Bengals have done? Have they done? I mean, the
No.
Chiefs knocked them out of the playoffs one year.
No, they missed the playoffs back-to-back years.
Wow. It's funny when you have this type of power. It's like the Chiefs are Thanos and the Bengals are everybody else that get bleeped. They get bleeped out of existence.
Here's my thing. Like, look, man. Look, Burrow is a good quarterback, but like, people fawning over this. He should be MVP and all this kind of stuff with his numbers and all that. Listen, with the caliber quarterback that he is, and with the weapons that he has with both Jamar and Higgins, that's what he's supposed to do. Yeah,
exactly.
He's supposed to put those numbers up. It's baffling to me that this is the first year he's actually really put these kind of numbers up in the first place.
Man.
So like,
bro, say that shit again.
That's what I'm saying. Like these dudes out here, like they saying this stuff about the year he said, but I'm like, well, it's about goddamn time.
Very true.
He should have been doing this.
Like, well, that's the funny thing is that they say that we were scared to play the Bengals, right? And trust me, we're not going to stay on this Bengals thing for too long. But here's what I found funny about that is that if we were scared of the Bengals, right? Why is it that kind of logic isn't even on the other side of the coin for the Bengals? Because to me, it sounds like the Bengals were scared to take an ass whooping again in the playoffs, so that's why they didn't make it to the playoffs.
Yeah, and not only that, like
they were scared to get ass whooping again.
But people just assuming that they're just going to play the Chiefs, bro. It's not like if they get in, they just automatically play the Chiefs, bro. They still they would have to beat Buffalo and the Ravens to do so.
Exactly. So when asked about this,
or at least one of the two.
Well, when asked about this on their New Heights podcast, Jason Kelce actually asked Travis. I think he was trying to fucking, ruffle his feathers a little bit and, gear him up for the playoffs. But I think he kind of shot gave him a little shot and it got Travis really fired up. So I want you guys to hear what Travis had to say about the fact that they're being accused of losing on purpose in Denver to keep the Bengals out of the playoffs.
AFC resting their starters, or the majority of them, in week 18.
Yeah.
There's some people alleging that it was a purposeful. I ain't scared of nobody. I wanted them in the playoffs. I want to slay every dragon one by one, like Mortal Kombat. I don't even want this to be like we play the lowest seed. Just give me the best teams. AFC, NFC. Give me all of them, Mortal Kombat style. I'll go through every one of them, giving them my best effort. You didn't want to see the Bengals in Burrowhead or in Cincinnati. I'll play him at the Walmart parking lot.
The parking lot.
Listen, I love competing against the greatest. The Bengals were a fun team to watch there towards the end of the season. It's a shame they didn't make it in the playoffs because they would have made the playoffs that much crazier and that much more fun. I mean,
they didn't want to get an ass whooping.
For like 4,000 something yards. Like it was something crazy. He had a great year. Chase it. That was one of the wackiest years of football I've ever seen from a team that I thought was 10 times better than what their record showed. I know that just playing against them. We didn't throw any game. Guys were out there competing their off trying to get a win.
Exactly.
It wasn't a fun game to be a part of, and I'm just sitting here on the sideline like, hey boys, don't let ruin our mojo. It's go time. We got to flip that switch and know we're the biggest, baddest team out there.
Exactly. See, that's the funny thing about that. Nobody wants, competitors want to compete. They don't give a fuck about, you know, going out and getting, you know, first round draft picks or getting the first pick in the draft. A competitor doesn't give a fuck about that. He wants to fucking win and compete at the highest level and show what he's got in the tank and show what he's made of, right? For people who have this idea that that's what they did, that is the dumbest shit I've ever heard of. Coming as, you know, an ex-athlete, you know, who was competitive all the time, I didn't give a fuck who the hell I was playing against. It didn't fucking matter. My whole purpose was to compete and do the very best I could because I want to show everybody I can play this game, right? But you have this idea from a bunch of, I don't even know what to call them, jackasses who want to give this fucking, you know, notion that the Chiefs lost on purpose so they could keep the Bengals out of the playoffs. Where in the fuck do y'all come up with this shit from? Nobody they don't give a fuck about that.
And did you see what Cam Taylor-Britt said after what Kelce was saying?
Yeah, he put on their Cap. And listen,
he said Cap shut that shit down or something.
But he's part of the He's part of the reason. He's part of the reason why they didn't fucking make the playoffs. He's part of the reason because their defense was dog shit. They got walked every fucking game by the other team's offense. That's how bad their defense was. They got dog walked.
Bro, he be getting cooked too, bro. Rasheed Rice literally owns that dude.
Yeah. Literally.
He
Literally.
be getting, bro, Rasheed Rice be cooking that dude. He need to, bro, that's why I be saying the Bengals just don't know how to shut up. They really don't.
But you know, that's the thing I listen. The Bengals are in a situation where they had to win all those games just to even try to sniff the outside of the playoffs. They came up short. You know, if they'd have just won that game against New England, who was arguably one of the worst teams in the league this year.
Yep, they'd have been in the playoffs.
They'd have been in the playoffs. But they want to blame everybody else for their fucking shortcomings. No, motherfucker, you fucked up. Simple as that.
I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I'm not going to say their window is closing because they do have Joe Burrow and they'll more than likely keep Chase at the minimum.
So what are they gonna do with T?
But
what they gonna do with T?
I don't know. But that kind of rolls into my point is that, like, man, they roster not looking all that great.
And then
their draft picks.
Then they got rid of
their draft picks. Yeah, their draft picks are not good. They had none of them really have panned out except for Daxton Hill was good. I know he was injured.
Yeah, he was injured.
But other than that, like Trey Hendrickson is good. I think he's a free agent next year. He's gonna want to get paid.
Yeah, man, think about that. Are they gonna be able to pay him, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase? They're not gonna be able to pay all these motherfuckers. They're not.
And you don't really have no young talent like. They don't really have no young talent.
And they're not going to be picking up high in the draft anyway because they did win 9 games this season. So they're going to be picking probably around, let's say 19, 20, something like that.
I think it's 17. It's 17 from what I think. Yeah.
So, I mean,
they're like, I don't know, man. It's looking a little rough over there right now.
All I can say is and then on top of that, before I get to that point, they fired their defensive coordinator, Joe Anarumo.
Which was a bad decision.
Was stupid as fuck because what he was able to do with that defense, with all the bad pieces he had there, he was actually able to put them on a win streak where they were actually able to stay in some games and then pull it out in the end because of the offense. This is the shit I'm talking about when you're a bad organization. You don't get rid of that guy. That guy's a very good fucking defensive coordinator. You fucked up again.
Yeah, so he's gonna
land on his feet somewhere.
Yeah, for sure.
He's gonna land on his feet somewhere. So for now, I'm done talking about the Bengals. I hope you guys have a a good time on that fishing trip you're on right now. So
their team, man, they just and their draft picks have been bro.
Yeah. somebody had put on the Twitter. Somebody put on the Twitter that the Bengals were announcing that they were sitting all their starters for Week 19.
I'm done. I think I seen that.
I said, boy, the internet is undefeated. Goddamn it, the internet is undefeated. So on to our next topic. The problems I've been seeing when it comes to the AFC playoffs. Like I said, everybody's disrespecting the Chiefs. Nobody wants to take the Chiefs, as the betting favorites. And, I've seen this throughout my lifetime when it comes to teams that are very, very good. People get tired of those teams. They hate to see teams win. Everybody hates a winner. I'm sorry. If you don't know this, you're fooling yourself. But everybody hates a winner, right? And we've seen it when it comes to any sporting league. When it came to the Bulls, we've seen it. When it came to the Celtics, we've seen it. When it came to the Lakers, we've seen it. When it came to the New England Patriots, we've seen it. It doesn't matter. The Warriors, the Dallas Cowboys when they were in their time, the San Francisco 49ers in their time. It does not matter. People hate winners. They get tired of them. They want to see somebody else win. I, for one, don't get tired of it because I love greatness. I love to see greatness because it's so hard to come by. And you don't see it that often when it comes to teams who actually come together for a common cause, who are able to sustain that for long periods of time. I love it. But then again, maybe I'm the weird one. Just saying. But Chris Broussard was on his show with Nick Wright, and everybody had a take. And his take was about the Buffalo Bills and the Baltimore Ravens possibly meeting up in the AFC playoffs in the second round, right? Well, a lot of people are picking Josh Allen and saying that Josh Allen is going to win that game because, they just happen to be the, how should I say, flavor of the month right now. They're the team everybody's talking about.
You talking about against the Broncos, right?
Yeah, so they're saying the Broncos are going to wind up losing that game, and the Bills are going to wind up playing the Ravens in the second round. Chris Broussard had an interesting take. I just want you to hear this.
The only way the Bills get to the Chiefs is that they got to beat the Ravens, and they won't beat the Ravens.
Gotcha.
They're going to meet, likely going to meet for the chance to play the Chiefs, right? They're going to meet in the second round.
Exactly.
I get it. If you want to say
That's
I'm
the only
a little
way.
more concerned about Buffalo than the Ravens, that's fine because the Bills obviously have matched up well with the Chiefs in the regular seasons, and the Ravens haven't. But the problem is they got to play each other.
That's right.
And in that game, again, call me crazy for looking at that 35-10 shellacking.
Everybody forgets that.
And getting a little
No, nobody talks
from
about
it.
that.
I respect the Bills. I do think they are a legit contender. And it's not just that game. It's that the Ravens just are a more talented team. If you
I
think
agree.
McDermott's a better coach than Harbaugh.
I do agree.
So the Ravens have the best coach. I'll call you right now, but I'll call quarterback. Let's call it a wash. And I feel like I'm giving Josh some benefit because Lamar was better this regular season. Josh been better in the playoffs. Derrick Henry, as good as James Cook's been, obviously that's Derrick Henry. Receivers, Zay Flowers, I assume will be back. The defense now,
I hope so.
The last 7 weeks, the Ravens defense has been legit. So I think they have the advantages everywhere that other than quarterback, which is a tie. And so I think clearly the Ravens are going to beat the Bills. I'm a little more, I think they're beating the Steelers by 10 or 14 points. But the Steelers is, to me, a tougher matchup than the Bills will be.
That's funny, huh? He thinks the Steelers will be a tougher matchup on the Ravens than the Bills will be. I don't actually disagree with that take. I think
The Steelers have Lamar's number.
Yeah,
well, the Steelers have Lamar's number.
Well, they have, but they did wind up beating the dog crap out of the Steelers this past.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah,
finally.
But they're a division rival as far as that division where the Steelers and the Ravens and the Bengals and the Browns all beat up on each other. They know each other, right? They play each other more times than they play any other teams. I kind of agree with Chris Broussard on this, that if you take the quarterback situation between both teams, between the Bills and the Ravens, okay, I'll say they're a wash. I still think Lamar's a better quarterback, but I'll give you they're a wash. It washes itself out. The telling thing that's going to happen in this matchup is that you have King Henry, at running back that nobody's been able to stop all season. Not really.
Except for the Chiefs.
Except for the Chiefs. My bad. Except for the Chiefs. But nobody's really been able to stop this dude all fucking season. And now you got to play Lamar for the run, and you got to play Henry for the run. Not only that, Lamar is in his bag right now. The way that man has been passing the ball this season, with the emergence of Zay Flowers, with Rashad Bateman actually just really turned out to be a really good receiver this year. Mark Andrews is back during this season. He's played well, phenomenal this season. I really think that if you look at it, I think the Ravens have them by, at least a touchdown. I think that they can beat them by at least a touchdown. So my only concern is if the Ravens actually get into this situation and they start letting Josh get out the pocket. That's the only concern I have. But even at that, like I told somebody before, all it takes is one good hit. One good hit to make him think twice about running out that pocket. And I know people are saying, well, that won't happen. Don't ever say never. Don't ever say never. It can happen. If he gets hit one good time to ring his bell, I guarantee you he will think twice about running out that pocket. Now he has to start throwing the ball down the field. And I don't think he has the weapons as much as some teams you would think that he can actually throw that ball every down. I really don't. I do believe that Cook is a very good running back. I think he does, pose some problems. Yeah, I think he poses some problems. Yeah. But I also think
a game breaker.
I also think that the reason why the Bills have been as good as they have been is also because of Cook. James Cook has been the reason why the Bills were able to turn their season around last year as well. And he's the reason why they're as good as they are now.
Bro, he's got 19 total touchdowns.
Yeah. So it's just
this year.
That's just my opinion. You don't have to believe me. Like I said, this is just my thoughts. Before we go any further, I just want to say, if you are a member, thank you, or a subscriber, thank you for subscribing to the channel. If you're not a subscriber, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. That way you'll know whenever we put any new content out, and it'll let you know immediately. We want to say thank you to everybody that has subscribed, and we hope you've been enjoying the show so far. And if you haven't, go on ahead and go back and watch some of the older content that we do have. We got some really good stuff on there. Next topic that I want to talk about is the situation. What?
Hold on, real quick. I have a question though, just real quick.
What
are the chances both? Hold on, just real quick. What are the chances the Ravens and the Bills both lose?
Okay, so that would mean that the Broncos would wind up beating
the Broncos and the Steelers.
The Broncos and the Steelers. Man, I don't see it. I don't see both of them losing. But I mean,
could you imagine though? Could you imagine though?
Would you understand how fucking crazy that would be? It would be an AFC West playoff series.
I don't think that would happen, but that would be insane, bro.
I don't see it happening. As much as I would love for it to happen, just because I'm tired of hearing about how great the fucking Bills are, how great the Ravens are. I mean, I just think it'd be funny. I don't think it's gonna happen. It's funny, but no, I don't think it's gonna happen. Next subject is we had this situation that after the playoffs. I mean, after the regular season had ended, at the last game of the season, the Jets wind up playing the Dolphins, and the Dolphins were trying to play a way into the playoffs as well. And Chiefs fans, we had a guy that, we traded to Miami, and he's not happy right now. He's not happy. Tyreek Hill is miserable right now, and he wants out. Now, I don't know if that's changed, but I do know that's what he said. And there's been questions, about where will Tyreek Hill go after the, if the Dolphins decide to trade him, because he is owed $28 million this following year coming up for that one season. So he's owed $28 million. But who's going to pay that kind of money for this receiver? And there are some teams out there I could see, happening. But I just want to tell Chiefs fans right now, we are not going to get Tyreek Hill back.
The only way that would ever happen. The only way that would ever happen is if the Miami Heat Dolphins release him.
That's the only way. But if they release him, then what's going to happen? And I don't think that's going to happen, because they would have to still pay his salary. You see what I'm saying? They would still be on the hook.
I get that. That's what I'm saying.
Guaranteed salary, but I don't think it's going to happen.
But that's what I'm saying though. Like that would be the only way the Chiefs would be able to even do it, is because obviously somebody else would be paying his salary.
Yeah,
they wouldn't have to pay that.
That's the only way I can see it happening. But for you guys who maybe did not hear, this is Tyreek after the Jets game, after they lost to the Jets, and Tyreek he was not very happy at all.
I mean, for me, like I said, man, I just got to do what's best for me and my family, dog. If that's here, if that's wherever the case may be, man,
not happy.
I'm finna open that door for myself.
He said, I'm finna open that door.
I'm opening the door. Like I'm out, bro.
He said, I'm out.
It's great playing here, but, at the end of the day, bro, I got to do what's best for, for my career and, what's best. Because I'm too much of a competitor to be, just out there.
Can you think about leaving?
If it is, hey,
He said, yes.
I'm dead.
He didn't have nothing else to say, man. He said, yes, I'm out. Fuck this shit. Look, Tyreek, you're probably in the tier of players for the Chiefs that I've loved. Tyreek is right up there. He's one of the top five chief.
He's a top 5 chief of all time, bro.
For me, he's one of my favorite players behind Priest Holmes. And the problem is I hated that we had this situation happen, but he also wanted to, he thought the grass was greener on the other side, right?
Man, he made that bed. He got to lay in it, man.
Right? And I hate it for him, but at the same time, these are the type of things that happen, man. And look, Tyreek, you'll probably never see this, but Tyreek, I love the hell out of you. I think you're one of the greatest fucking wide receivers to ever play the game. And I know maybe you don't have the stats of a Jerry Rice or the stats of Randy Moss or whatever. But to me, especially being a Chief guy where we have never had really great, fantastic wide receivers, I love this shit out you. But I wish things would have been different. But I got a funny feeling that, a lot of Chiefs fans are going to be clamoring to get Tyreek back, and I just don't see it happening unless, like you said, Mike, we somehow come across the fact that Tyreek gets fucking let go by the Miami Dolphins. So I just don't see it happening. I really don't. So
that would be crazy. That would be crazy. Could you imagine though? Tyreek
it would be crazy as hell.
And Rice.
Oh my God. So anyway, speaking about the playoffs. We have been gearing up for this all season. And the funny thing is that now that it's here, everybody's pretty unsure about what's going to happen, right? And what I can tell you is I'm probably in the same boat, except for my outcome. I'm pretty sure about what the official outcome at the end of the day is going to be, like at the end of all that's said and done. I can't tell you about all the little things that are going to happen, transversing up into that point. But I will say the final outcome is I believe the Chiefs will wind up three-peating as a Super Bowl champion. But that's just on one side of the coin, right? So we still have the NFC that's, pretty much up for grabs. And it's very competitive in that area, right? So right now we have the NFC where the Lions are the number 1 seed. And the number 2 seed is the Eagles. Behind them are going to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. At the 4 seed is going to be the Rams. The 5 seed, which is crazy, at 15-2, is the Minnesota Vikings. And the 6th seed is the Washington Commanders. And the 7th seed is the Green Bay Packers. Look, I'm going to tell you this right now. I think Green Bay is going to get beat against I don't think they're going to win against the Eagles. I got a funny feeling that Jalen Daniels is actually going to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I don't think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but I do think that they're going to win. The Vikings are going to lose against the Rams. I hate to say that because I had the Rams.
I don't know, man.
Listen, here's what the reason I'm saying this. Matthew Stafford is a Super Bowl champion quarterback.
I mean, yeah, I get that.
He's got 2 great wide receivers, right? Same thing that the Minnesota has, right? The problem is that their quarterback situation up in Minnesota is this will be his first time actually in the playoffs where it's meaningful, right? This is nothing new for Stafford right now. He don't. I'm not saying that this is something that he was doing all the time.
He's got playoff experience.
Yeah, he's got a lot of playoff experience, right? So I'm thinking that they wind up beating the Vikings. I don't think it'll be a blowout, but these are just my thoughts. It doesn't mean I'm right. This is just me. This is what I'm saying. So I'm picking the Rams to beat the Vikings. I'm picking the Commanders to beat Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I got 2 guys that are going to be pissed off at me about that game too. So my cousin Pino, he's a Commanders fan.
Hey, the Vikings. Hey, man, the Vikings. They tricked off that Lions game. Well, I wouldn't even say they did. I think Sam Darnold did.
They came out of character. They came out of character because they are not the kind of team that goes for it on 4th down in the end zone or the red zone like that all the time. That's just kick your field goal.
I agree. No, I agree, but man, he overthrew like 3 wide open touchdowns.
Yeah,
bro. It's like, man, come on, man.
I got a funny feeling what's going to happen, and I think that the reason why I'm saying this is because I really want to see it happen. Is I'm thinking that the Vikings lose to the Rams, and we could have a Matthew Stafford versus Jared Goff 2nd round matchup. Where those 2 quarterbacks had flip-flopped. Oh, man, wouldn't that be fucking sweet?
Would be nasty.
Wouldn't that be fucking sweet as hell? That's why I was like, man, I think this could happen.
Yeah.
So,
hey, that would be a nice. I do want to see that.
That's what I'm saying, man. Wouldn't that be fucking cool as shit to see these 2 guys who got flip-flopped and, Stafford wound up winning the Super Bowl and here Goff is, one of the best teams in the league for the last 2 years in a row, man. Look.
Hey, Dad. Hey, look, and I think Goff is very good, right?
Yeah.
Could you imagine Stafford in his prime with these weapons that Goff has? With that, oh my!
But it would have never happened though. It would have never happened though because the trade that they made for that, to get
is the reason why they got all those picks. Yeah,
pretty much.
But it's crazy. Like I always say, like. Because obviously, people compared Mahomes to Favre in a way with his gunslinger mentality.
Yeah.
But like, I always thought he was kind of closer to Stafford than anybody. Like, that's who he really reminded me of coming out of college with Stafford.
Stafford doesn't get the credit. He doesn't get the credit.
Stafford just had a dog shit team. Outside of Megatron, they were bad.
Yeah. He doesn't get the credit that he deserves because Matthew Stafford is one of the great. He has one of the prettiest fucking throws that I've seen.
Oh yeah,
that guy throws a.
He's a talented
man.
He's a talented thrower of the ball. For real.
I remember when he came out of Georgia, I said the same thing. I said that dude's fucking. He's got a fantastic fucking arm. Just love the way he throws the ball. So. But that was my thing, I was thinking about that. I was like, man, it'd be nice to see Stafford and Goff go at it. I would love to see that in the playoffs, right? So as far as the AFC picture goes, I mean, it's pretty much, what I say doesn't mean anything. But the Chiefs do have the number 1 seed, so they're off that first week. They got the first round bye. You have the Buffalo Bills, who will be the 2nd seed. They'll be going up against the 7th seed, the Denver Broncos. You also have the Baltimore Ravens at the 3 seed, who will be going up against their interdivisional rival, the Pittsburgh Steelers. And then you have the Houston Texans at the number 4 seed, who will be going up against the number 5 seed, and the Chargers representing out of the AFC West. So 3 teams representing out of the AFC West. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to say this. I know, Mike, you said earlier, wouldn't it be funny if these 2 teams lost? But I'm going to pick.
Man, saying like
I'm going to pick the Bills. I'm going to pick the Bills to beat the Broncos. But there's something about the Broncos being in this position.
I'm telling you, that's the one. That's the one I can really see. Like, I think the Ravens are going to beat the Steelers.
Yes, right? I think the Ravens are going to beat the Steelers. But I really think that everybody is discounting how good the Broncos really are. Yeah,
that defense is nasty, man. That defensive line, with Surtain. Oh man, listen.
Yeah, so I would not. To me, I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think the Broncos, if they can keep it to 3 points late in that game, I think they can actually win that game. But I'm going to pick the Bills because of the home field. That's the only reason I pick them. Is because of home field.
Hey, could you imagine if Bo Nix goes on the road and beats Josh Allen in the playoffs?
Man, what they gonna say about Josh Allen after that?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I wouldn't wish that on Josh Allen.
No, but at the same time, I can understand it. So
that would be insane.
I have the Chargers beating the Houston Texans. I just think that the Chargers actually are more talented all the way across the board, especially since, the Texans have not played good coming down the stretch. They just haven't. So that's just how that pans out for me. I'm not going to go into the next round about who's going to win what, because we want to talk about that after the games in the first round have passed over. So we'll talk about that afterwards on another episode. But I just wanted to put that out there that, yes, to me, I do think the Broncos have the best chance in the AFC to actually pull an upset. And I also think that the Rams have another chance to pull that, pull that out and win that game against the Vikings, so there can be a second round matchup with the Lions, where I would love to see Matthew Stafford go back up against Jared Goff, and they're playing in fucking Detroit. Watch and see Matthew Stafford get that homecoming, everybody see him. That, to me, like I said, I would love to see it. So, but I don't have much more for today. I wanted to talk about those things in particular because, some of the things about the Bengals and their fans, it got on my nerves. So I had to address that. And the other things that I want to talk about, I want it to be in a situation where people understand, hey, look, if you think for any reason that the Chiefs are just not good this year, you are fooling yourselves. I think the Chiefs are very, very, very good. And I think that by them getting the rest that they need, I think you probably opened up a little bit of Pandora's box, because I think if there's one team you don't want to have rest, it's that team. That is the team you do not want to have rest. And they got it.
But man, not even that. You got players coming back from injury.
Yeah, exactly. We haven't even talked about Jalen Watson coming back, which,
bro, if Jalen Watson actually comes back and he plays, bro,
wow.
I'm gonna tell y'all, man.
I hope he's ready. I hope he's ready. That's all I gotta say. I hope he's ready. I hope.
Man, when I seen that video of him cutting back and making cuts, I was like, oh yeah, it's time.
Well.
That's what I was waiting on, because he did the straightaway video first. Remember?
Yeah, he did the straightaway video
but it was
first.
Just straightaway,
and I was like, damn, he's moving.
He's moving, but I need to see him move laterally. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And then the next day, boom. That's when the video came out.
If he does get cleared to play, and he's suited up, I'm at the point where I'm wondering how many snaps are they really going to play him, So that's my only concern, is how soon.
Question.
What?
Do you think they bring up Steven Nelson?
I really don't think it's going to happen unless one of those guys get hurt. I really don't think, because right now you would have thought they would have put him in a game, especially during that week, that game, week 18, where we played the Broncos, where all the starters just kind of sat. Why would Nelson not get called up?
I mean, yeah, but
I'm just saying.
the only reason why I said it, the only reason why I brought it up is because like Najee Johnson just hasn't been playing that
He
great.
has not played well.
Like,
He has not played well.
like he's low key kind of a liability.
He is a liability.
So my thinking is, man, if you put, let's say Watson can come back,
yeah.
and you bring Steven Nelson in as another player, that's a solid. And I even think Chris Roland Moss has been playing really well too.
Yeah, and that's the other question.
That's a solid DB room right there, man.
Yeah,
into the playoffs.
And that's why I said I wonder how many snaps they're going to give Jalen Watson if he is ready to go. How many snaps are they going to give him coming out the gate, right? So that's my only concern. Is he in that kind of shape where you can put him out there that often, right? Because if he's ready to go and they put him out there, I got a funny feeling he's not going to be out there every snap. They can't. I don't think he's in that kind of shape.
No, not yet. I don't think he'll be out there every snap. That's why I said you can kind of. That's like you like 5 deep at that point.
Exactly.
You got McDuffie. You have Watson. You have Williams.
Yeah.
Then you have Watson. That's 4.
Yeah.
And you add Nelson to that. That's a solid 5-man run right there.
Yeah. And that's why I was kind of, like I said, I'm kind of wondering, but we'll see. Like I said, I would have figured that Nelson would have got some snaps during that, bullshit ass Denver Broncos game where they did not have any starters on the field. You would have thought what?
Speaking of that game, man, you notice they had Uche out there running outside linebacker?
Yeah, I noticed it, but I mean they really had to, because they sat Tranquil and then they sat Bolton. Chanel played. Blake.
They had him playing the wheel too.
Yeah, so I mean,
I wonder if that's what they're.
We'll see what happens.
I wonder if that's what they're trying to like. They're trying to change him from just being a straight up edge rusher into like a.
He's too. I don't think he has the side to side lateral movement to do that. I really don't.
No, I don't necessarily agree with that, because that's what he was doing in college.
True,
and dude is not slow.
He's not slow. But
he's not slow at all.
I don't think it's about his foot speed. What I'm saying is his lateral side-to-side movement because of his hips. I'm wondering, if he can turn that quickly, when he needs to. So I don't know. I could be wrong, but maybe it's just because I haven't seen enough of him, especially since he's been with the Chiefs. So, and because
I watched the film on him in college, and he was doing that. He was doing that quite a bit in college.
Well, we'll just have to wait and see. We'll just have to wait and see, basically, how the Chiefs decide they're going to use him, if they are going to use him. So, but anyway, that's it for our show today. We wanted to bring something to you guys right before the playoffs start. Man, I can't wait. I cannot wait. So, anyway, we want to thank everybody for joining us, on our show today. And if you can, hit that like button. And if you're new, thank you. We appreciate you. If you're old and you've been here for a while, thank you. We appreciate you. But no matter what, we want to see you guys all come back to our next episode here at the Cavecast. I'm Big Temp. That's Big Mike. And we out.